Making talk radio great again. It's The War Room with Roger Stone at Infowars.com/show.
They're losers and they're cowards, and they know they can't defeat us in a debate or an idea, in a battle of idea and wit, so they just erase us from the arena, and then they stand tall like, ha ha ha, look at me, I'm the champion. No, you're not. You're a coward and a fraud. You erased all your competition. You're a sick freak. That's what YouTube does. That's what Twitter does. That's what Facebook does. And that's why they don't want you on Twitter, Roger, because you're better than them.
Welcome back. You're on the War Room. It's Freedom Command Central with your co-hosts Roger Stone and Owen Schroyer. The shooting in Parkland has given the tech left and the mainstream media their forum for the drive for censorship. I made a mad dash for Washington, D.C. yesterday to speak to a Free Our Internet event where we commemorated the fight ahead. Let's roll that tape.
Amazon for Yahoo. It's not socialist media, it's social media. 2016 was the year in which the mainstream media lost their monopoly control of discourse regarding American politics. And now, the tech left, in a brutal campaign of censorship, wants to put the toothpaste back in the tube. That is not going to happen. And therefore, on every front, we need to oppose the war of censorship and expose the manipulation of the First Amendment and our right to free expression. Whether it is manipulation of the algorithms, whether it is shadow banning, whether it is their fake news notifications, they're not putting the toothpaste back in the tube. We will fight this out in the courts. We will fight it out in the Congress. We will fight it out in front of the administration. And most importantly, we will fight it out in the court of public opinion. We're asserting notification on Google and the other big boys of Silicon Valley. You will not strangle the First Amendment. You will not silence us. The American people will not give up what they have learned, that through the internet, the political narrative is no longer controlled by 3 television networks and 2 cable news networks. No, the fight for the First Amendment will endure, and we will succeed. Thank you so much for being here. Free our internet.
And that pretty much sets the table. Only nights ago was the night of the long knives on Twitter, where thousands of liberty and conservative-oriented Twitter subscribers woke up to find out they were locked out of their Twitter feed, accused of being a bot. And then, after you filled out a form, if they readmitted you to Twitter, you found that huge swaths of your followers had disappeared. The internet entrepreneur, Jason Fick, who joined us on the War Room the night before last, tells me today that he has been blocked now from posting on Facebook, and he believes he is being monitored by Facebook. And then, of course, we have the extraordinary fight where CNN, a news organization, puts pressure and lobbies YouTube to decapitate, yes, you heard it, Infowars. Oh, and tell us what's going on in this particular struggle.
Well, specifically, when it comes to YouTube, what we deal with on a regular basis, in fact, what we're still dealing with here on the War Room, I don't remember the date. I mean, we haven't been able to go live on our YouTube channel for almost a month now, guys. I mean, what are we looking at? About a month, I think. And so what happens, Roger, is now here's the key, though, and this is why Fick was so spot on when you talked to him yesterday, because they are monitoring Fick. They are monitoring us. They have an extra special eye, extra special attention on us to try to catch us slipping up, catch any time they can to try to block us, ban us, etc. And so they'll find, some clip that gets played. For example, we had a clip that we ran of Shaun White's gold medal Olympic run, a 30-second clip, and we got struck because it was caught in some algorithm that, okay, you're playing someone else's stuff, so you're not allowed to play it. 30-second clip of an Olympic run. I mean, you'd think that'd be fair use. So this is kind of some of the stuff. But with the social media, it's a little different because with Twitter, what they're doing is, like you said earlier, they're either deeming you a bot to try to, just relieve you of their platform. They don't want you on there. Or they're doing the shadow banning where they say, okay, we'll have some sort of algorithm that basically disappears you from the actual Twitter feed. So you'll make a post and your post will be there, but nobody's going to see it unless they specifically go to your channel. Now, in the Project Veritas video, you heard the guy from YouTube say that, how they want it to be, if you're going to search for Alex Jones on YouTube, well, you're not going to find him. You have to know to go to the Alex Jones channel, otherwise you're not going to find him. And it's really sick, isn't it, Roger? I mean, it's really sick that these people would do this, but you know why they do it is because they're scared. They're scared of our ideas, they're scared of our will, and they're scared of our policies actually rejuvenating America and then dominating the public opinion. That's why they do it. They're losers and they're cowards, and they know they can't defeat us in a debate or an idea, in a battle of idea and wit, so they just erase us from the arena, and then they stand tall like, ha, 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 look at me, I'm the champion. No, you're not. You're a coward and a fraud. You erased all your competition. You're a sick freak. That's what YouTube does. That's what Twitter does. And that's what Facebook does. And that's why they don't want you on Twitter, Roger, because you're better than them.
Well, this is about reasserting control. They're still smarting over losing the 2016 presidential election, where they had all the technological and financial advantages, and they had the more experienced candidate who didn't know that she was supposed to pitch her campaign to 270 electoral votes, and they lost. And now they seek, as I said in Washington yesterday, to put the toothpaste back in the tube. But the fact that CNN is specifically targeting Infowars, and this ridiculous system of you get 3 strikes and you're out. This is reminiscent of Twitter. If you had 3 complaints, well, then you were under scrutiny. Well, if your tweets are controversial, if your posts on YouTube are controversial and fact-based, and they disturb the standard, conventional, liberal narrative, of course you're going to engender complaints. David Brock has people at phone banks making phony complaints all day when he's not paying for bots or trying to boost the SEO of negative stories that he plants about people on the right. So this is an abusive process. But if there's any better reason for you to go to the Infowars store now, it is to gird us for this fight. We are headed to an enormous battle here on every front, be it in the courts, before the Congress, before the administration, and most importantly, in the court of public opinion. Yes, in the streets through peaceful protest. And we need your help in this fight. We don't have the kind of loose change that they have at Google and many on the tech left. And therefore, we depend on you for our support. So if you go to the Infowars store, you can support the fight for freedom. You can support the fight against censorship. The Super Blue entire product line, a real favorite in our family, 50% off. Brain Force Plus, 25% off. These are extraordinary prices, and you not only get a great product, which I think you will enjoy and come to value, but you also help our struggle against those who would strangle the First Amendment, those who would knock Infowars off the air, off of Google, off of YouTube, off the internet. So it's win-win, folks. Help us get ready for this fight. Go to the Infowars store now. Owen and I are going to continue to break this down for you because, in a way, the Parkland tragedy has opened the door for a forum to try to silence us. And as we expose the phoniness of CNN's agit-prop town meeting, where everything was scripted with the exception of an exceptional performance by Dana Lash, well, that gives them the main chance. That's why they are in full throttle against us and why we need your help today. The Democratic establishment and the permanent two-party duopoly is celebrating, high-fiving themselves today over the news that former Paul Manafort deputy Rick Gates, who worked on the Trump campaign, has agreed to plead guilty to lying and other charges and will testify against Paul Manafort. I point out again that none of the charges levied against Manafort or Gates pertain either to Russia or to the Trump campaign in any way. Very clearly, the flipping of Gates is meant to put additional pressure on Manafort in the hopes that he will somehow testify against the president. The problem with this reasoning is that Manafort has nothing that he can say that will imply wrongdoing on the part of Donald Trump or his campaign pertaining to Russian collusion or, to my knowledge, any other issue. Therefore, Manafort's testifying against the president would have to involve the bearing of false witness, perjury. I still don't believe that he will do it. This is a bid by the special counsel to up the pressure on Manafort, but to what end is not exactly clear. Owen?
Well, I think you nailed it on the head. I think that they want to get, Manafort or whoever it is, Manafort obviously the lead target right now, to admit to something that doesn't exist. They think they can bully him and, levy whatever kind of legal charges that they may think they have against him to say, all right, look, all you got to do is sell out the bigger fish. All you got to do is tell us how Trump colluded with Russia. Give us something. Tell us Trump has bank records. Tell us Trump has a connection. Just give us something. But the problem is there's nothing to give. So like you said, it's kind of an interesting scenario. They know there's nothing to give. They know that there's nothing there. So they know that they're asking for an impossible task, but they figure let's just put it in Manafort's court and let's see what he comes up with. And I agree with you. I don't think Manafort sells Trump down the river because even if he wanted to, what's he going to do? He's not going to perjure himself. He's not going to make something up. It doesn't really benefit him in the end. And you've got another situation where if Flynn's case gets dropped because of the way the evidence was obtained, well, now they're going to have to throw out Manafort's case too. So you've got all that going on. And Roger, I would suspect the same thing is happening behind closed doors to Hillary Clinton and Obama and Holder and Rice and the like, but nobody's talking about it. I would guess the same thing is happening to some of these people on the left saying, hey, look, we've got you here. We're not going to make a big fuss about it. We don't have some special counsel that has to update the public, but we've got you. And so you can either tell us exactly how X and Y went down and who is behind it, or, maybe there'll be some charges against you. Maybe there's some jail time that you need to check out. But how does Manafort just invent something about Trump that doesn't exist? That's their challenge. That's what they think they can get Manafort to do.
Yeah, well, the left is delusional. I mean, I read an extraordinary piece by Margaret Carlson on the Daily Beast this morning. Now, I know Margaret Carlson. I introduced her to Donald Trump, in 2000 or 1999. There was a time when I thought she was a pretty smart, responsible journalist, but she just buys a whole hog the entire ridiculous notion of Russian collusion. She still looks at the completely benign meeting held by Donald Trump Jr., which produces nothing. She ignores the fact that the Russian woman lawyer in question is in the country without a visa and that there's no upshot from the meeting. She produces no information, yet she claims to find a crime. There is no crime there. There is no Russian collusion. The entire idea that Donald Trump needed help from the Russians to win this election is an insult in itself. Hillary Clinton, who had all the financial and technical advantages, and far more experience at presidential politics, ran one of the worst campaigns in American political history. Donald Trump, who's thought to be an amateur, but who is in fact a public relations genius, ran one of the most epic, grassroots, unconventional presidential campaigns in American political history. He simply outfought, outfoxed, outthought, outstrategized her, and in the stretch, he outworked her. And the left just cannot admit that they took a beating because they were picking out the curtains for the Oval Office when Donald Trump crossed the finish line.
Oh, but Roger, it's so obvious that Trump colluded with Russia and the Kremlin. You know, obviously he's got contacts at the highest level, probably talking to Putin, and that's why he had to send his son, Don Jr., to take some obscure meeting with a Russian lawyer that also happened to work with Fusion GPS to expose Bill Browder. So, I mean, of course Trump is colluding with Russia. That's why he has to send Don Jr. to some obscure meeting. I mean, that's what happens when you're colluding at the highest levels of the Russian government. You just have some random Russian lawyer to talk to. I mean, that's how it works. I mean, that makes sense.
Well, it just seems to me with the indictment of 13 Russian nationals, we've now set a standard. Will Hillary be indicted for her colluding with Ukrainian nationals? Will FBI officials go to jail for colluding with a foreign national, Christopher Steele, who was dealing in turn with the Russians? Will George Soros be indicted? He's not a U.S. citizen, but he was interfering in the American election. A new standard has been set here, and no person is above the law. That's what they've told us. Yet we had these show indictments for a trial that will never happen, simply to create the headline: Russians interfered in presidential election. It's not until you get to paragraph 3 that you learn that there was no connection, coordination, or collusion with the Trump campaign. This is meant to prop up the sagging public relations of Mr. Mueller. And once again, the new indictments against Manafort and Gates that were unveiled today don't pertain in any way to Donald Trump or the Trump campaign or the presidential campaign of 2016. This is an exercise in high-pressure tactics to force Manafort to bear false witness against the president, and also to prop up the PR, the sagging PR of the special counsel, who in the wake of the exposed text messages, God bless you, Judicial Watch, we have exposed as a completely naked partisan witch hunt.
Well, this is just going to be incredible to see how this all breaks down, because my guess is this Democrat memo is coming out. It may come out today, but it's expected to come out sometime next week. My guess is this Democrat memo and everything that they're all hopped up about was what came out today, or excuse me, what came out yesterday with the Mueller indictments. My guess is the entire Democrat memo is this, millions of dollars they're claiming that Manafort was laundering and had offshore. I think that that's all they got. I mean, I don't know where else they go from here, and it's all going to blow up in their face. Again, Flynn's case is probably going to get dropped because the way they obtain the evidence, and then in turn, that means that Manafort's case is going to be dropped. Real quick, Roger, we got 15 seconds till break. Do you know is Paul Manafort talking to Donald Trump, or does he have a conduit to talk to Donald Trump at all?
I have no way of knowing, Owen. I cannot address the question because I don't know the answer.
Okay, I would hope that he does, but that's interesting. Again, this is all coming down. Alex Jones is going to be joining us in the next segment. A rare Alex Jones, kind of like a rare Pepe. A rare Alex Jones joins us in the next segment. You're not going to want to miss it. New from Emmerich's Essentials, fragrance-free natural deodorant for your body care needs. Playing basketball in the dry summer heat really makes me sweat. To maintain my game, I need all the confidence I can get. That's why I use Emmerich's Essentials natural deodorant. Made with organic ingredients, this deodorant combines mineral crystals with natural botanicals to ionize odor, keeping me fresh throughout the day. While shooting hoops, the last thing I want is sweaty armpits making my hands slippery and the ball wet. That's why I recommend Emmerich's Essentials fragrance-free deodorant. Even though it's unscented, it's effective at combating strong body odor, and I don't have to worry about any unwanted allergic reactions to my sensitive skin. Whether you're a guy or gal, the last thing you want to be worried about is your deodorant. No petroleum-based ingredients, 100% natural and cruelty-free. Stay in the game with Emmerich's Essentials fragrance-free natural deodorant. Available at InfoWarsStore.com. Electrify your day with Secret 12. It's like lightning in a bottle. We all have days in which we just can't seem to perform at the level we'd like to. Infowars Live Secret 12 is designed to naturally energize your body and mind with 2 great tasting and super high quality forms of vitamin B12. Proper vitamin and nutrient intake is essential to keep your body functioning at optimum levels. The reality is, it's hard to take in the proper amount of vitamins we need each day with our modern diets. Secret 12 by Infowars Life is an easy way to naturally upgrade your vitamin B12 intake and support your body's natural systems. It pairs 2 forms of vitamin B12 into one explosive formula. Vitamin B12 supports healthy energy levels through red blood cell formation and aiding in the body's natural processes, but it also assists with many other functions of the body. Electrify your mind and body and take your health to the next level. Experience the power of Secret 12 at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.